Suppose we have to go for, let's say, internal audit or some sort of a consultancy on a procure to pay cycle. So we should know what are all available in that, right? Now, what I want to know is how do we proceed on this particular, this one, like yeah. Now, can somebody start adding the points that we should look into on a procure to pay cycle? So we shall go on by adding the points. What are all the things available and how are we going to work on that kind of a this one? That is what I wanted to get from you people. Yeah. Can we start? Anyone? In a normal organization, suppose we will get into the audit portion slightly later, but let us find out what are all the steps involved in a procure to pay. How does the things start off in any organization? Yeah, can somebody help me, please?
The purchase requisition may be the starting point for the steps where that individual
purchase requisition, we can call it as PR or we can call it as intent. Am I right?
Yep, sir. Purchase requisition.
So that is the first one. Okay, I have put a, see, let's go on by adding. Okay, purchase requisition or intent. Agree. Thank you. Next.
Next, probably the quotation. I'm not sure where it's this, but probably there's a quotation from the vendors or the purchaser. I'm not sure whether out of these two steps, which one will fall in which sequence.
Okay, we will call it as quotation.
From the vendors, yeah.
Agreed. Is there any steps in between? Can somebody else help us? There is an intent and there is a quotation from the vendor. So intent is an internal document, I believe. Am I right? Within the organization. And quotation is an document which we receive from the vendor. So is there any step or anything in between? Can somebody help me? Anyone? See, all of us, if we do together, it will be a wonderful time instead of me talking or trying to say something. Because I thought it will be a good exercise if all of us. Yeah.
Good afternoon. My name is Naresh Perimithe, and I am Chief Risk Officer.
Yeah, Naresh.
I have been with the internal department for a long time.
Oh, great, sir.
Last 30 years.
Great.
I will share with you about the process. Basically, before starting this procurement to pay, basically we should have some inbuilt internal controls. One is the standard operating procedure, then as the other one is the delegation of authority.
Okay, we have internal control. Then we will have DOP you are talking.
Yeah, standard operating procedures and the delegation of authority.
Okay, on SOPs you are talking.
Yeah, SOP, the standard operating.
Okay, sir, thank you.
The first step is that requirement for the materials. That is what they call the material intent.
Yeah, okay.
So once the material intent is sent to the stores people will verify the availability of the materials and they will ask for the procurement or they will hand over the materials.
Yeah, true.
Then if it goes to the procurement department will verify their vendors database and send their RFQ, that is a request for quotations.
Yeah, so that is in between a step is there, RFP or RFQ. Am I right?
RFQ, yeah.
Request for a quotation.
Yeah.
This request for a quotation is to the probable vendors or if it is an open tender, then it goes as an open tender quotation. Or okay, we will come to that. What kind of RFQs are available? Yeah, Mr. Naresh, please continue.
So based on the approved vendors list, those guys will send this request for quotations to all the respective vendors.
Yeah.
And with a target date, and they will receive the quotations and they will prepare the comparative quotation statement.
Okay. So another is a receipt of quotations, isn't it? Okay. Then We will have a scrutiny. Am I right?
Yeah, that will prepare the comparative quotation statement.
Yeah, scrutiny, then
Yeah.
comparison of comparison statement, we can say. Yeah.
So then they will identify the L1, L2, the lower based on the prices.
A selection.
Selection of the vendors.
Okay.
So it has a different criteria. Normally, if the order is placed on L1, then if the L1 is competent enough, then they will place order in L1. If the L1 is not competent, if they are doubtful whether that guy is performed well or not, then they will place order at the next level, L2.
There is a small difference between, I think, you must be in a private sector, sir?
Yes, yeah.
Okay. There is a small difference between private sector and public sector, which we will discuss also, because that is also very important. So we have a selection of vendor, how it should be done, we will discuss. Then, sir?
Yes.
Then?
So then when the order is not placed on L1, they have to justify in writing. That is the general control, internal control process.
True.
So
Agreed.
as the delegation of authority, that vendor selection will be done.
Okay.
So then based on that, the purchase order will be raised.
PO.
PO will be raised.
Placement. Okay.
So mostly it is in the, nowadays the most of the people are using the ERP or the software packages. It will be generated in the respective software application. So then it will be communicated to the respective vendor and to the project inventor, material project team, or the material inventor, and to the stores persons.
Yeah. So PO placement, and along with that, whatever the job is to be done, that we will do. Then, sir?
Yes.
After that?
Then vendor will supply the materials to the respective to the specified location along with the invoice.
Okay.
So the material will be received, and again it will get inspected and accepted or rejected.
Okay. Then
IRN will be raised. That item receipt note we call it, or some people will call it acceptance note, inspection and acceptance note.
yeah. So there is a question whether this session is available for BCom final students. The answer is yes. Anybody can join. It's a free session. Students also can definitely learn. So some of the things that we will be discussing, they won't have experienced, but they can definitely learn from all people who have experienced. Sir, we will explain L1 and L2, please. We are just having a brainstorming. There is a question on L1, L2. Please, when we go for the comparison statement and selection of vendor, please again remind us. I think there are people like me, Mr. Govind, Mr. Naresh. We will all explain to you what is L1 and L2. Just hold on for some time. As we flow through it, we will be able to do it. Certainly. Yeah. Yes, sir. Naresh, sir.
Yeah, when IRN is raised.
Yeah, IR either rejection or let us say we will call a goods receipt note or goods receipt note. We'll call it as a GRN or let's say rejection report or whatever it is. Then
then the payment will be sorted as per the credit terms.
So afterwards, okay, payment, that itself is a separate subject. We will come to that because that involves getting the invoice and then checking all those things and then making the payment and all.
Yes.
And thank you, sir. I see if you really look at it, these are all just given as a, what do you call, a synopsis of whatever is available. That is what it is. I think my screen is visible, I believe. So all these points must be visible to all of you. Yeah. Anything else we have left out? Can somebody, this one, tell me, please. Is anything we have left out? Anyone wants to say something on this?
One thing just I wanted to highlight is that there's a two kind of purchases predominantly we are going for. One is for the, especially for the retail industries, which I am talking about. Because one is, or even for any industries for that matter, for our own consumption or the own production, what we are like Naresh ji explained, what are the stores or something, certain things we wanted to use for the capitalized purchases or our own stationary office kind of purchases.
Okay.
So normally in retail, we use the term called goods for resale, goods not for resale. That's a kind of a first bucket whenever it comes for the procurement, because there's a different process altogether if it is for goods for resale. If it is capital purchases or something, there's a two separate process. That is the main bucket. Normally they used to have it as a starting point.
Yeah. Okay. So we have, you can say, three kinds of purchase. Maybe we can say one is for capital purchase. Another is what you are going to purchase for use by your organization. And the third one is for resale. Maybe many of the organizations who get it, store it, sell it later. So that will be there. Okay, fine, sir. Agree. So different kinds of purchases we have. Agree. Thank you. Anything else? Sir, we have Mr.
Fourth one is
We have Mr. Gopalakrishnan. I think he has to leave for another program. So if he is available, can I request him to come in and share his views? Gopalakrishnan, sir, if you are free and available. Yeah. Till then, Mr. Naresh, you wanted to say something.
I am from the construction industry where will purchase on behalf of the client also.
Okay.
So that is one more thing. And more or less the process is same, but the only thing is we should get the acceptance from the client.
Okay, fine.
So we should go by the listed vendors by the client.
Yeah, so that's a good thing, sir. See, there is something which we have to discuss also. Not only it is vendor registration, there are many things connected with the vendor.
Yes.
Shall I make it as vendor management? I will write it for the time being. We will have some discussion on that. All of you must be having a lot of ideas on this. We will discuss. Yeah, vendor management. Anything else, please? Anything else we have left out, or because many people must be on this circuit of procure to pay, right? So I just thought put all the ideas into one place, and then before we get on to the actual, what is the way in which the flow in which the whole thing will work. That is what. Yeah, Mr. Naresh, you wanted to say something?
Yeah, that's all.
Yeah, okay. Thank you.
Only one of my observations is that whenever we are selecting the vendors or arriving at the cost to the company, I have one point to say that basically we should also consider the cost of capital for the credit period.
Cost of capital for the
Credit period, to the extent of the credit period. So some people will ask advance payment, some people will ask 30 days payment, some people will ask 60 days payment. So
okay.
most of the companies, they are not considering the cost for that period. While
Yeah,
arriving at
maybe. Yeah, we may have to load the loading of payment terms and all. Okay, I will just write it because of namely discuss about payments. We will do that also, right? Where is the payment? Suppose if this is the payment, we can write loading. Okay.
Yes.
Loading on payment terms. If the payment terms is 100% in advance, then I think when we want to do a comparison, if some other supplier is asking for no advance, then I think when I do the comparison on the financial terms, I'll have to load this. So all these things should be available in the RFQ itself, isn't it? So we cannot at a very later date tell the supplier that in case you ask for advance payment, I will load all those things. We will see what, because in a private company, it really doesn't matter. You can still make some changes. Whereas in the public sector, once you have given the terms, then you may not be able to change any of the terms till you place the order, or you may have to go for a cancellation of tenders. So that is how the POCs work, because you can't do any midterm corrections at some of the terms. Yeah, that is what we say. Fine.
Okay.
So it's a good starting point. We have so many points like revolving around the P2P. We have got the indent, then materials and all. And one more, like we have a vendor management. In fact, I think we should have a material master management also. Am I right? I think like Mr. Govind was telling, he had been working in the SAP environment. Many others must be working on a computerized environment. So we don't work on the nomenclature or the name of the material. We work through a code of the material, and for that, the material master itself will have a lot of information, and including, just give me a 2 seconds, please. Yeah, we have got a material master also is one of the very important point, which I think all of us can discuss once we are into the discussions thing. So this is also one of the important point which we should definitely have. Like what we have, this material master also is one of the important point. Right. Now I will stop the sharing of the screen. Okay. So anybody, because we have appeared about 20-25 points we were discussing now. Anybody would like to say anything before we proceed further, please? Yeah. Anyone? I think I don't know how many of us are there. We must be about, say, 26 participants are there. Some of you I know, but some of you I may not personally know. So thank you very much for joining. Yeah.
The KYC of vendors, I think it will be part of the vendor management. I'm not sure.
KYC, no? Okay.
KYC
Yeah,
of vendors. There is one more.
KYC, we will note it down. Okay, KYC. Vendor management, when we do the vendor management, we will
It will be
remember.
part of the vendor management.
Yeah. KYC of the vendor management, we will remember that. Okay, fine. Anything else? That's on the, see, each and every point. Suppose when today's discussion will be on the procure to pay, and if we are having the opportunity of going for an audit, so what all we are supposed to look at it. Okay, suppose if you are going to be an officer or executive or official of the company, then our lookout will be slightly entirely different on a different way. When we go for an audit, it has to be on a different setup. Definitely, we have a lot of internal audit opportunities, and all of us know that internal audit is no more simple vouching and all, because it has gone up to the level of risk mapping and looking at the risk structure or whatever happens to the organization, what is going to be the future, the son of the organization, all those things. So that way, I thought we will have a complete discussion on the cycle, one cycle. Maybe some other time we can have another discussion on, let us say, order to cash, and then we can have a discussion from hire to retire. So those kind of things, because as an internal auditor, we are supposed to look at all the systems and then come out with suggestions. We are not here to only pinpoint pitfall. We can add value to the organization by our own experience. That was the whole thing. Mr. Chiranjeevi Kamasani. So I am able to see you. So you have any points? Can you just add some other point? Yeah, please. You can unmute your mic.
Audible, sir?
Yeah, you are audible. Please go ahead.
One thing, sir, I think in the process between GRN and payment, there is invoice processing one aspect is there.
Yeah.
I think that is missed out. I think so. If I'm wrong, please correct me.
No, what we will do, it was not missed out. What we thought was, I will just put it in the payment because, receipt of invoice, then checking with the purchase order, GRN, and then making the payment. Okay. So when we come to the payment, we will discuss as an auditor, what are all we are supposed to look at it. So the idea was we were looking at all the sub modules of a P2P cycle, procure to pay cycle. We have got a real small sub modules. All these sub modules put together will be the cycle. Okay, we will do that. I have noted down. In fact, it is available in my mind. You are raised. Thank you very much. Yeah. Anybody else, please? It will be nice if you have more points. That is the whole thing. Yeah. Anyone else? Yeah, we need more, this one, inputs from all of you. Please understand, we are trying to learn from all of you, all of us. In fact, 26 of us have to learn from the remaining, 25 of us have to learn from remaining 25. That's the whole thing. That's how it works on that. Yeah, anything else? Anybody would like to add, subtract, or as he was telling, we have left this, or we have not taken this into account, something like that? Anybody? And people tell us. Otherwise, we can go to the thing. Yeah, what we will do, we will get into a complete system flow based on what we discussed and based on whatever was already drawn through the experience and conducting other sessions with other members and all. I have drawn a flow. We will go through the flow and see whether we are taking up all the points or not, right?